Welcome to Project Pack number 10. This is day 9. My name is Rick.
Hi, I'm Maria, and on my little pages here, I had already done L5, which was the original legend,
Yeah.
and used all the same tangles that's in the kit on the legend paper. But I decided to take the same tangles, and we went to L1 and do them just a little differently on each one. Just make it a little bit more, changing it ever so slightly with the knowledge that you already have. So I'm not adding a lot of difficult things, just little things. So on Crescent Moon, instead of going to the inside of a shape, I started with the outside of the shape.
So these are like variations or shades. Some of them might be tangulations,
Maybe,
but
yeah.
there's no really hard edge to this. It's like this inspiration to say, okay, well, what else could I do with this? How else could I use this color of this pattern?
Right. I'm also going to use the different, the brown and the black pen. So right now I changed to the brown pen. And so I'm putting these little ladybug shapes facing outward, which usually I don't do. You know, it's usually the bugs sort of crawl to the inside of a shape. But just to show you that never say never, you know, and always push the boundaries. I'll always see, because what happens is you discover these things about yourself. Let's see if I can do this. I'm going to take a chance with this, and it's no big deal. It's just a 3.5-inch square. You can take chances on that, and you get so good at taking chances that you start to take them in other things in your life.
Even if they don't go the way you expected.
Right. You learn that sometimes Plan B is better.
Right. Yeah, we were looking for a place to rent, and we looked at all these places, and they never quite worked, and they were so disappointing that, that didn't work out, until we found one that we were so glad that all the other ones didn't work out because the new one was so good.
Right.
I like how that you make that go all the way around, like in these circles. That's very cool.
So with my black pen now, I'm going to add another layer of the ladybugs, and you know, because we're working with two colors, it's kind of fun to do some interesting little things.
Well, it's a great contrast.
I love the black and brown together. Yeah. When we introduced the brown pen on the Renaissance tiles, it was very exciting for me.
Yeah. Well, because on the Renaissance tile, you can go to both ends. You can add light and add dark. It's very cool.
So you can see I'm sort of like not bouncing around simply like the other one, but maybe more like
Hurry. Like Hurry,
which we did on that.
Yeah. So there's many different ways, or there's more than one way to aura in Crescent Moon.
In anything, right?
In anything, yeah.
So that made like a pretty interesting looking, and I could leave that white, but I'm not sure if I will.
Yeah, I think you did something else with it. Right?
Look at that.
And I know that this was one of those little spur of the moment things. You just, look at that. Oh, I'm going to do something I hadn't thought of.
So this is the Tangled Circus, and it's a really cool tangle. I kind of like it. And we're going to do a tangulation of that one here, too. And so watch and wait.
Have a seat in the circus.
Seat, right.
Three-ring circus.
So I put my X down, and then I picked up my brown pen. And these are sort of straight lines, but not. They're about as straight as I can get.
Yeah, and that is pretty. For you, that's really straight.
I know. I mean, I can draw a straight line. It's just not my character.
And look at the care and affection with each stroke that's going down. there's no rush, and there's no rush to finish these books. We're going to leave these videos up for a long time. So, take your time, enjoy the process,
and load them up. Do things in the margins and do all kinds of stuff. Make notes, and that's what you need these for. You don't want to keep them pristine. You want them to be really interesting. So just, every time you think of something, just throw it in the corner, put some words and comments. Oh, I did it this way. I like it better that way, or whatever.
Yeah. It's like a field guide almost.
I know. So I was thinking about, what do I do with Hari, right? And then I've done this little thing with just this kind of a creeper so I took my black pen and I'm just going to go in and out. So I go up to a certain point and then stop and then pretend it's going in and under these slats or these ribbons, or you can see that. Yes. And it's so much fun to do this. You just have to be bold. You have to be brave. And it's sort of just really fun.
Well, it's sort of like somebody came up to your chair seat and wove a ribbon into it or something.
Right. I'll have to try that. Ooh, that's a good idea.
Right?
Yeah.
So that concept of drawing behind, you see how Maria literally traced the track of the pen behind those little woven rush strips.
Yeah,
there.
wait till we shade this, though. That's when it's going to go just really blow your mind. Look at this.
So little touch
of brown.
Yeah. And it's where it is and the multiple going over it, it almost gets lost in the black, but there's more complexity going on. It's really it's a great combination. It's a great pens. Yeah, this color of this brown is wonderful and we keep saying it, but you go over it and it changes color, and you can really have fun with that.
Nice.
Okay, we'll come back to this later.
Okay. So now we're going to do Kiko. So what can we do with that? Well, we'll do something fairly simple. We've done some more complicated things. So I'm going to give myself a couple of lines to go by, and I'm holding and this is still that 01, but depending on how much pressure you put down, you can put a very, very, very skinny line when you don't want it to be overpowering.
Right.
So this is going to be almost like a grid for me, and you don't need to do it that way, but so I'm doing the 1, 2, 3, 4, because to me that's like a dance step, right?
It's a nice rhythm, yeah. So this is a new approach for Kiko of jumping from one side to the other, or skipping a row, I should say. And Maria's going back here and restating that.
A little bit of an aura.
Yeah.
Restating it, and then so my next stripes are going to be narrower.
Again, you can see how she's varying the weight of the pressure on the pen. Now with the brown.
And again, that's rhythm and movement. And you really have to do the horizontal and then the vertical. You can't go around and do all the horizontals because this just never works that well like that. So this just gets you to pay attention.
And I like that you're not being so careful as to make sure that they go in different directions, because I don't know what your intention was, but the different color is different enough.
Is enough, right.
I love that. And leaving that little aurid gap in there it really has a nice effect.
because we're going to take Knightsbridge, and boy, what can you do with Knightsbridge? But I tried something that I had never done before, too, and I put my vertical lines down, but we're going to, instead of having all even spaces between the grids, I'm going to have like narrow stripes that will repeat.
And it also looks like you're keying off the parallels of those wedge shapes there.
Right. So, and then instead of going exactly perpendicular, you can see that I'm like Rick said, I'm following the shape of the wedge. In this case, it made it really easy to get my my things down.
And you notice how she turned her tile, because that way she could see the line she was drawing it next to. It wasn't covered up by her pen or her hand.
So I really enjoyed doing this, but I had to really pay attention to what I was doing. So I did all the little tiny squares first, and next I'm going to do the big ones in between. Now, I've told you about the kissing things, and you really have to look at this, and the only way you could figure out here which ones to do next is the corners are kissing. So we're going to outline those larger diamond shapes, and we're going to end up with an argyle.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Right? That's pretty argyle-ish.
It is pretty argyle-ish.
But I've never seen this one done.
No, that's neat.
So something new, and we could probably call it something else, but let's see where it takes us. Isn't that pretty?
Yeah. And the subtlety of the outline, you almost lose the brown line, but you still see it.
Right. So we're going to do something with the fescue. Is that the fescue? Flu.
I love the easy curve, but now what Maria's doing with this, going over it, this sort of like, I don't know, it's sort of like weighting, but it just gives it a character that's...
Right, almost like a woodcut, more not so much of a pen line or a perfect stroke. It's got some meat to it there.
Mm-hmm. And it's not like, okay, just simply thicker at the bottom, or, you know, there's a randomness that's really neat to it. It's really, really nice.
It looks like they're floating in the breeze if you're outside and on a windy day.
So feel free to, the inspiration I get from this is to feel free to go over a line and to restate it and play with it and see what happens.
So I'm just going to aura all this. And not just each one, but all of the shapes that they create. It's just a whole different thing than had I auraed them as I went along.
Right. So instead of doing that like hollow approach, there's just like this, is it 2-dimension, is it 3-dimension, and then just this magical aura around the whole thing.
And then I had to put something in the background,
But this is a tool that we use a lot in Flux. You'll see how you can refer back to how we did it in Flux, is to look at the spaces, see the largest orb that you can put in, and then fill in around it. It's a very fun technique, and it fills up an area pretty quickly too.
And see, the big one in the corner is a surprise, and we should have those surprises and let people wonder what we were thinking.
Speaking of orbs.
Yes. So on the tipple tangulation, we're going to start with sort of a curvy line of these beautiful pearl shapes.
Like pop pearls or something.
Yeah, but I had a set of pop pearls. Oh my gosh, they were great.
And just wherever it goes.
And I'm adding these darker little black pearls in the crevices there.
And just leaving a little bit highlighted on
Right.
each one of those.
And I'm auraing around the two of them together to create a unit. So that, like, it's like, looks like a bracelet. So now I'm going to start another stripe, and we're going to do it in the brown.
And
And do
again
the
with
same
the little
thing,
ones,
yeah.
yeah.
So what you do is sometimes you just want to put down something, put them all down, and then do it on both sides, and then see where it takes you.
So what I'm seeing in this is a pattern of big orbs, little orbs, aura. Big orbs,
Right.
little orbs, aura. And then you can change or not change the color in those steps. So that's a really great technique to add. I like that. And then again, rotating turn the book around because it's more comfortable. And that's one of the great things about Zentangle art, and there not being an up and down, left and right.
These are great tangles to teach new people that are new at this and think they can't do it. And then, look what they got at the end.
It's
So
beautiful.
cool. So here's some Shattuck. And like, what can I do with Shattuck? So on here on number 16, we'll put our the stripes down that hold the Shattuck together. And I'm going to actually combine Shattuck with Hollabaugh. See where that takes me.
That's appropriate.
Yeah, that's right, because Molly's name is Molly Shattuck, and her husband's name is Nick Hollabaugh. So, that's very
That's right,
cool.
right.
I didn't
Molly
realize
Shattuck
how cool
Hollabaugh.
I was being. That's cool. I gotta
Very
tell
nice.
Molly. Yeah. Hey, Molly. Nick.
And you'll see how both Maria and I did, or I think I showed two different ways to do Shattuck.
Oh, the straight and
the curvy.
curvy.
So this is like a little bit of both. Straight framework and curvy insides. That wonderful over and under potential.
I'm auraing the background.
So it's a really neat, playful way to look at, auraing the overall shape or auraing the individual elements.
So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, people way back when, whatever, that designed flags, they had this technique down because they all are made like this. There's a lot of aura, there's
And then
the background colors and patterns. And you take a look at the
Interesting.
flags of different countries,
Yep.
and I bet you'll see that, I can do that. There's the aura, there's the color, there's the pattern.
Interesting.
And this is a bales. What can I do with bales? And decided to make it a little sparkly.
Cool.
Starting with my brown pen. Put my grid down. So I'm pretty much mimicking the shape of the pie shape there. But when you go to put it in your Zentangle tiles, analyze the shape of the space you
Right.
have and kind of play with it. Don't try to force something in there that maybe this is giving you an idea of something you hadn't thought of.
And you can see how Bales was such a close companion, or is such a close companion for the whole reticula and fragment approach in the last video. So once that basic Bales is set, you can just take it anywhere.
So you put the X's in all the squares.
Yeah, there's so many directions you can go. It's another reason to leave it a little bit larger than you might think, because it gives you more playroom inside.
So now I'm going to go in and put that other layer.
This is almost like Bale's Dreaming of Fife.
Right.
So that cross piece is she's drawing behind.
It's a bold move.
Yeah,
Takes a while, but it looks great.
The contrast is worth it. So it's going from being just line work to being this, like, real light and dark.
Adding drama. I always thought when you're going to add some bold colors, it makes it more dramatic.
Yeah. Beautiful. Looks like some great work in...
here comes the black.
Yeah.
Wow, just that. Look at that, what it
Right?
does. Right?
So hopefully a lot of the things in these videos will just prompt all sorts of ideas, and you're just going to run with it, and we just can't wait to see where you go, what you do. It's going to be wonderful. And really grateful to everybody sharing what you do online, particularly in the Mosaic app.
And Halaba, which is just such an important tangle in the Zentangle method. It's always nice to do different versions of it so that you won't forget this tangle. So what I did is I just put a few boards down, and then with my brown pen I'm going to go in and aura the inside shape. So there's that four-sided, what do you call that?
Trapezoid.
Trapezoid. And what I'm doing is connecting it to the corners, maybe almost like a mat board. You can see it almost looks like a beveled edge.
Right, like it's a mat board on some magical, or a coffered ceiling.
Coffered ceiling.
A lot of times we'll call this coffering.
Coffering, right. And you can do this coffering in a lot of different tangles. It's a great thing to add so easily. So now we're going to bring these things to life, add some shades of gray. There's so many ways you can do it, but I thought, wow, if we focus on that white triangle in the middle, people are going to wonder, what's
right. Is that
about?
floating
What
above?
Is it? Yeah,
is it a hole? Is it, what is it?
It looks like
yeah.
that.
Yeah. And it's neat doing the outside, because that's usually where the black ladybug, dark ladybug shapes are.
Right. So this one's going to pillow it out and then pull it back in with the.
It's really great.
Tortilla. So whenever you're doing shading like that, you want to give your tile time to dry, especially in this damp weather that we're having. You don't want to go with the tortilla over pen,
right.
dark
over
pen,
wet.
wet pen. You just need to let it dry, and you'll figure it out.
A little bit of adding contrast there.
Yeah. So watch this.
This was really neat.
This is the fun thing. So now we're shading where these this ribbon goes in and out, just enough. It just comes to life so easily. It
just lifts it right up.
Look at that.
Right?
Isn't that the funnest thing? Watch this. So cool.
And just wedged it in there. Yeah, the tortillon really is a fantastic little tool.
But wait, there's more.
Right? So now that those are pushing down, well, oh yeah, I can do that part. And even though...
So I have enough
right.
graphite on there, I'm going to even give it a little shade so that you can see how it lifts up. Look at that. It just just that
Right, it's
makes it lift up.
catching the light,
How fun is that?
right? And you can even pull some of the graphite in from the sides there.
Right.
And you don't need much.
Don't need much.
It really looks like it's bending over it there,
I
right?
know, right? All of a sudden the lines they can't be straight, right? Those
Right.
can't be straight. They have to be wiggly lines, right?
That's fun.
And you saw it right there. You
Yeah.
saw it happen so easily, right?
And you can rewind if you want, right? Always add a little more graphite if that calls to you.
How fun. Jumps off the
That
page.
is really nice.
And we're going to do the outside of this. There's so a lot going on here. Sometimes you don't need to do much. Or anything at all. You know, sometimes tangles are just beautiful the way they are.
But you could, you can imagine how you could go in and do some of those individual orbs, or you just, as Maria's doing here, and then soften it up. Nice.
So on this Kiko, I'm going to the base or to the right of each of these stripes and putting some graphite down, and that should be enough to give them individuality, right? You can see them popping up.
And again, you can see the benefit of that little tiny orid white gap that's in between them. Really made a big difference. So here's a combination of shading the outside and the inside elements.
Mm-hmm. Very simple. And I figured that I would just focus on the original black beads and pearls, and have that be the focus. Add a little smiley face on each pearl.
It's like layers.
Tone down the brown ones. And here we got our Halaba and Shattuck going on. I tell Molly.
And you've got and notice Maria's putting down a lot of graphite here.
I can be a little heavy-handed.
But look how it smooths out, it spreads out, but she still makes sure that there's areas of
white,
without graphite, so you
right,
get the contrast.
Right. That's kind of cool. Doesn't it look like a flag?
It does. Yeah. And even the shading over the brown, it really has an impact.
It's subtle, but it's beautiful. So here's with that coffering. It's kind of cool.
And just pick a side or a couple bevels.
Right.
And then with the tortillon, you can also just smooth around the internal areas as well.
Now this is a little bit of a different type of shading. You go for these little buttons here, and it'll almost look like tufting on a beautiful velvet couch or chair, pillow.
Right.
But that's the effect, and it's so simple. So here we get my original page. Oh wait, that's my
right. You did a second book.
I did a second book, yeah.
So this shows all of the other tangles that she played with.
Yeah, and you can see some of them are really cool, and gives you some ideas of what to do with the ones that you've got, or maybe you'll come up with more.
So this series has been absolutely exciting, and we've had a great time. We've loved the feedback and seeing what you've done. We've got a wrap-up coming up, so thanks so much.
Okay, bye. See you later.
Bye now.